Dead of Night is the map where we have to destroy 151 infested structures to clean out the infestation. This would be easy were it not for the fact that the infested structures all spawn enemies at night and attack our base, alongside several special infested. Amon steals your buildings if he destroys them. He also covers your minerals. His guys also explode when they die.
Carax, where do we have him?
Yeah, Carax is thankfully one of the more interesting Protoss I've been able to chat about today. So he does have like the issue with Eminent Domain like any other Protoss, but the difference with him is he also has like shield batteries and he has ways to actually buff his turrets quite a bit more. So can he get overrun with some comps? Absolutely. So you have to care with that. But the extra addition that Carax brings with him is his top down. So he can deal with those before they get close enough to his turrets, and even if they don't, you can deal with the aftermath a lot more easily. Fingers crossed, you'll be able to kind of react fast enough to not let it get to that point. But he does have what he needs. If you're also on top of it, you can use your top down to clear the whole map. Like Carax is typically really strong on this map. He just has to be a little bit more careful. And of course, the final mutation, you can just put a turret by your mineral line and just use that to clear. So it does definitely impact him, but it doesn't impact him as much as the other Protoss we've talked about today. And you'll just need to build a little bit. He does do well, but he doesn't do as well as he normally would, just because you're going to have to just play slightly differently than normal. I personally have him in B tier.
B tier. What do you think, Joni?
Mhm.
Yeah, I pretty much all of the above, to be honest. I think potentially P1 is worth considering playing, just because the static that you probably are going to want to use it despite Eminent Domain. So P1 obviously buffs it quite significantly, and you've then got the big red panic button of using Chrono Wave as well. So yeah, but I think he's got some decent options. I think clearing with these mutations, you are still going to clear quite like as quickly and efficiently as you can, because there is a point at which like with Eminent Domain getting overrun, you're then completely overrun. Like I think there's a point at which the balance tips here, and I think his clearings he doesn't have many like great options. Like carriers, particularly combined with mineral shields, are not really particularly viable. But at the same time, like you do have top bar, it is extremely strong regardless of whether you're playing P1 or P3. So yeah, I had him in B tier as well.
Interesting that you say that he doesn't have great clearing. He has one of the best ways to clear this map with Solar Lance with fire. You can take out like 10 buildings in a single round of Solar Lance if you do it properly, with observers sieged up on unpathable terrain. You're saying he doesn't have good clearing?
No, I'm sorry. He doesn't have great unit clearing. Like I totally appreciate that. Like he's got ability to clear with Solar Lance, etc. But you're going to have less Solar Lance if you do choose to play P1. So that clear is going to be significantly slower. And and look, I'm not debating the fact that it is a really good way of clearing. But I think there is a skill and a knowledge check
similar to Hot and Horner.
In that. I would argue like less so, because Holland Horner, theirs is very straightforward. It is literally just strike fighters as always. There's no need necessarily for like the observation, the vision around it, and the bug happens to their galleons like automatically. But no, I've conceded the point that yeah, actually he does have options to clear. I just think, again, if you're picking P1 over P3, it is just going to be a bit slower because
you don't need 50 options to clear if your one option is amazing.
I think the only thing that hinders Carax Because normally I would see him as like an easy S on this map in general, but the only thing that'll hold him back, I think, in this map is if you're going to have to use some of your energy and resources to build up that defense, especially for P1 this time. By the time you get going, it's going to take a lot longer than the other commanders that I see above him for this specific mutation. Like typically the solar lance, yeah, you can clear a bunch of buildings, but if you're just running out of energy or not able to defend, like assuming, like I'm not going to put any weight on your partner in this one, because if it's just focusing on Carax, like if it's just you trying to defend and build up at the same time, it'll just take enough time for me to think that, hey, there's a bit of a risk, because if you get overrun by Zerlings, for example, or for whatever reason you just didn't clear by night 3-4 and you just don't have enough structures or your upgrades up in time, it just becomes a bit of a challenge.
I think it's a
But
skill issue.
typically, yeah, like you can clear quite a bit. Yeah, it is a bit more of a skill issue. But the thing is, if you're playing like using your example there of like Han and Horner versus Karax in terms of knowledge, Han and Horner, I'm just clicking a button and then it's just like the easier top down. Whereas with him, I have to manage energy, manage the upgrades, make sure I'm not getting overrun, making sure I'm
Sorry,
like having either
you're
the
saying
shield
you have to
batteries or whatever.
manage energy, but don't you also have to manage cooldowns with Hot and Horner? You can't just spam the airstrikers indefinitely. You have to wait for their cooldown of about a minute before they come online again. Similar to
You do.
how you have to wait on the cooldown and the energy. If you have the third prestige, this is not a problem at all. You basically never out of energy for the third prestige, as long as you have cannons and colossus and energizers defending. In fact, if you have cannons, shield batteries, colossus, energizers at your ramp, what's the risk of getting broken?
It's just a matter of getting to that point. That's where I think the difference is.
Night
Because
one,
that's quite
you have
expensive to have all those things.
night one. You have cannons and shield batteries in front, so that they don't take that. The shield batteries have more health, so they should always be in front.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
and you can probably squeeze out an energizer to make your cannon shoot faster. And then you just really need an observer for your entire offense. And then night two, you could probably have one or two colossus to help your defense. I don't know. Why are you so scared of Zerglings? You have shield batteries to tank, and you have colossus to shoot them down. I would argue that Hara and Horner is at greater risk of being overrun by Zerglings, because their units are not great. They will just get overrun by 4 continuous minutes of defense, which they are not great at. Yes, their galleons stay alive, but the rest of their stuff on the ground just falls flat.
Yeah, I mean, I to be fair, I totally take the arguments you're making for Carax here, and I had overlooked the speed with which you could both build his static and clear. So I'm super prepared to bump Carax up. Like, I do think that compared to, particularly when you look at the fact you've got Mensk in A tier, like, super happy to concede that Carax, absolutely should be at the same level as Mensk at least. I think that, like, I mean, Han and Horner, let's be clear, like, they are broken for this map, and I don't think Carax is broken.
Literally, the textbook definition of broken.
Or the mutation actually buffs you.
Yeah, whereas like Carax is not broken, so I don't think it's
He works.
I don't necessarily comparable with them. But yeah, I'm totally happy to exceed the fact that Carax is like, yeah, potentially stronger than I had initially considered. So happy to consider him for A tier.
Well,
I can concede like he is strong. He has like a lot of those points that you mentioned. Like, I don't disagree. But yeah, I can see him bump up to A. Like, I unfortunately wouldn't see him in like S, for example, but I can see him in A.
Okay. I kind of feel bad for just influencing your tiers. It's supposed to be your list, not mine. I apologize.
Well, that's good. This is the second time I've had this discussion with Carax on this map. It's just like I see it, but I think it's just the value of it. I think it's okay. Like, we'll have a difference there, but that's just where I think we may have just a difference of opinion. Like, I think he's still really strong, but I guess I just don't have as much value on it for the early nights.
It just feels jarring to have someone so good as Carax fall so far as B. But I'm totally prepared to hear an argument as to why you think his cannons don't stand a chance against infested. Those mighty, powerful infested.
I don't think they'll stand a chance. It's just because you're on that one base, like it just takes time to build up. It's just Carax.
That's true. That is true. Especially if you're the third prestige, you don't have a chrono, so it takes a while to get stuff, and your units are really expensive. So that is true. Yeah. At the same time,
I think that's my biggest thing with Carax. It's he's strong. Like in endgame, if you had like 200 supply, I feel like Carax is probably gonna be one of, if not the strongest. But it's getting there, right? Like it's a different story.
It's not even supply dependent. It's just, can you get your cannons up?
Well, I know that's what I'm saying. It's like the example of like if you have time to get to X point, that's where it just makes a difference.
Fair point.
And that includes cannon, like honest. Yeah.
So I kind of want to argue him back to B now, because both of you did put him in B.
Put him back.
You know what? I think it's a really good example of where like there is. I think, I mean, certainly between like myself and you, CTG, like I think it's a really interesting example of how a skill deficit between players can like shift a commander around in their perception of how hard or easy it's going to be. Like I would consider myself less skillful at using Carax than yourself, and as a result, I've probably ranked him a little bit lower. So like, yeah, do you know what I mean? It's one of those ones that if you're able to fully like realize the potential of a commander in that situation, and you are going to have a significantly easier time. Do you know what I mean?
This is funny you say that, because a lot of beginners would say, Carax is great on Dead of Night because I can make cannons.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
Then Eminent Domain overruns those same people.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, my Donnie. Anyway, so where do we end up having him?
I'm okay with A or B. Like I don't think it's like a huge difference. Like I know he's strong. It's just
B's gonna be very sad if no
one
one's.
We're all good.
That's the difference. B's gonna be very sad.
Alright, let's put him in F tier just for CT.
Yeah.
There we go.
I totally like his strategy is basically the same as Menk's to a large extent. Yeah. So I think it'd be appropriate to be an A tier as well.
So what, A or B?
I'm okay with that.
A? Alright.
A. Yeah, stick him in A. Why not?
Sure. Alright. Let's move. Wait. A or B? Wait, A or B?
Well, we'll keep him in A.
Alright.
Keep him in A.